Hi everybody, welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. Let's just get right back in, shall we? We left off buying a present for Karma/Claude, and now I think we're probably going to have some more conversation with Waltz, and then give Claude our present, and hopefully he'll start being less of a shithead. He's been quite shitty lately. When we return, I go to my room to tuck the locket into a drawer before I head to the tavern to finish the rest of my chores. Just as expected, Claude is not downstairs today either. Jurian and Garland have taken to training with each other, though they seem agitated that Claude is not helping them. At the end of the day, I hurry to my room, where I write a few words on a piece of paper that I put into the locket. A normal rose would have withered, so I offer this one instead, in heartfelt thanks. I hold the locket tightly in my hand and start toward Claude's room. Why is my heart beating so fast? I'm just giving him a gift. I pause at Claude's door, remembering the last time I entered his room. I'm sure it's okay if I just go in. Yeah, unless the door is locked. Or not. I open up the door to Claude's room, which is thankfully not locked, and step inside. Claude is sitting motionless in front of his mirror, shoulders slumped as he stares at his reflection. What's going on, buddy? Duh! He's shirtless. And there's that tattoo. It seems different. Claude does not notice me at first. I notice that his hand goes to the tattoo over his chest, and then I hear him heave a heavy sigh. Slowly, I close the door behind me. It clicks, and that's when he suddenly turns to look at me. At first there is just shock on his face, and then suddenly, anger. Again. Why do you do this again, Sophie? Oh, time to save. I guess I might as well save over this, since it wasn't at a decision plot point dealy. I came to speak with you. I came to give you something. I came to speak with you. I think. Let's try it. See what happens. I came to give him something, but I also want to speak with him. I haven't seen Claude in a while. Why? Because you've been doing everything by yourself lately? You came to complain? No. I came to check on you, dipshit. There it is. No, I wanted to check on you. Hey! Princess, can you not read the mood? You could have, at the very least, knocked. Would you have answered? Nice tattoo, buddy. In no time at all, he's suddenly right in front of me. His hands outstretched on either side of me, pinning to the wall against the door. Ugh! His face is so close, his expression so fierce that I cannot even bring myself to think of a way out. The only thing I can do is stare at him levelly, without getting angry. Ah! The hair, the infamous hair, is back. Without crying. I will not show any weakness. Why? Why aren't you struggling or screaming at me? That's what the Sophie I know would do. Then you don't know me as much as you think you do. And you know nothing about me. Well, whose fault is that, Mr. I reveal nothing about myself? I already have a retort prepared when I stop, realizing he is right. I barely know anything about him. No, I don't. But I'd like to. Why do you insist on poking your nose into others' business? We're partners. It's the only reason. It has to be. No, Sophie, it's really not. I wish you'd just learn. I'm supposed to help you, so why do you keep secrets from me? Help me? His lips quirk, but his smile is sardonic. Claude, I want to help you. In the silence that descends between us, I find that I cannot help but look at Claude's tattoo, at the thorns twirling around the rose. It's beautiful, but also seems so lethal. When I glance at Claude again, he looks crestfallen, his eyes glittering when he looks like he might be on the verge of tears. Secrets are secrets for a reason, Princess. You should know that. If I could speak about them, I would, but I can't. You bursting into my room without any notice only makes it harder. Harder for what? Princess, you can't imagine what this all feels like. Try me. What is he talking about? That woman. I thought we were meant to be. She was so lovely. Her smile as bright as the sun. Claude's eyes are far away. That's why. Never again. But then you ruined everything, Sophie. You cut me down like... Pushed my hands against Claude's chest, catching him off guard and forcing him to stumble back. Cannot take any of this. If I've ruined everything, then I'll just leave. You can have all the time in the world to yourself then. The locket I'd bought for him burns in my hand. I end up throwing it at his feet. Sophie, wait! I ignore him as I run from the room. When I return to my room and lock my door, I feel too hollow inside for tears. It hurts to breathe when I think of him. Dots. I eventually manage to fall asleep, but only have snatches of restless dreams when my eyes finally close. Mother, are you and Father in true love, like the fairy tales? I thought I forbid you to speak of the fairy tales. Have you been reading them? No, Mother. I overheard someone in the palace talking about them today. Then I shall have to find that person and make sure they know what an appropriate topic for conversation in the palace is. But Mother, the true love in fairy tales sounds so nice. Do you think I can fall in true love with a prince? Dearest one, true love like that does not exist. Oh. But the love between a mother and her child is the truest kind. It cannot be replicated by anything else. Who says you want to replicate it? You can have different forms of love that aren't the same as each other, but are still valid. Come on. All other kinds of love is an illusion. My love is all you will ever need. That is not true. Do you understand me, my heart? Yes, Mother. God, Mother is awful. Chapter 8. The Lost Prince. Yeah. In the forest. Keep your stance straight, Princess. Oh, are we training with Jurian now? Jurian gives me the warning, but too late on purpose. I can see the smile on her face as she effortlessly slides past my defenses and taps me on the shoulder with her wooden sword. Got you. Again. For the last few days I've been practicing with Jurian and Garland because Claude still hasn't come out of his room. The knights offer to train me, and right now they're teaching me about ways to hold a sword. This is slow, but Claude did tell me I wouldn't be able to master the sword so quickly. Claude made me so angry that one day that I could not even properly give him my gift. Yet I still feel sad that he's not here teaching me himself. Come on, Princess, focus! I jolt out of my reverie and nod at Jurian. Okay. I ready myself for her next strike and once again get tapped, this time on the hip. Garland takes over after Jurian, and then we do rounds where I try to hit them with certain strikes. They're both good at teaching, but it doesn't feel the same as Claude's instruction. His lessons seem less like they were out of a book. Don't worry, Princess. It always starts out slow. Len was just as slow at training, but look at him now! Blush. Garland whips his head around in Jurian's direction, his face turning deep red. Jurian, that nickname. You're so much fun to tease, Len. You should respect his dislike of the nickname. She beams at him and then laughs at his embarrassed face. Our practice goes on for a few more minutes before the knights tell me to wrap up for the night. I think I'm going to stay out here for a little bit. Don't get kidnapped! Please? Princess, you know it's dangerous out here at night. If I don't return in 10 minutes, you can come back and check on me. Jurian seems unconvinced, but she eventually nods. Fine, but keep your guard up, Princess. I watch the two knights as they head back. I see Garland put his arm around Jurian's waist, pulling her closer. Oh, that is so frickin' sweet. I turn away from the sight, ignoring the heavy feeling in my stomach. I'll just practice the swings for 5 more minutes. The only thing I hear in the clearing while I practice is my shallow breathing and the wind in my ears. Something breaks my concentration, however. I see a glimmer of color in the forest, and I instantly stop, my hands growing tense on the wooden sword. What was that? I glance around at my surroundings, then freeze when I feel a hand on my shoulder. I can feel someone's breath on my neck. Is it a vampire? This all feels familiar. Is this Claude? Is it? What if we're getting kidnapped again? This is weird. Okay, so... Okay, this is gonna sound like super duper kind of funny at first, but like... People have a distinct smell. Like, every person smells like something. And if somebody just, like, suddenly approaches you, like, from any particular direction, they displace the air around them. And when the air comes back in, it rushes in, and you can smell them. At least I can smell them. Like, if somebody approaches you and is close enough to put their hand on your shoulder, like, you can tell by smell who it is before you look at them. And I'm really frustrated that there's no note that would, like, tell Sophie, for real, who this is, because, like, I would be able to tell it was Claude in an instant if I'd already smelled him. I'm gonna turn and point my sword at him, you know, not let my guard down. I'm pretty sure I recognize Claude's hand, but because I know it's him, I also know what he'd want me to do. I duck away from his hand and turn quickly to point my sword. The tip of the wood is at his neck, and for a few stunned moments, I think I've won. Even Claude looks surprised. Ah, but if you think you've won, then your guard is down. It's really him! Oh, good. But then Claude's hands have moved, and he has one hand over my wrist and the other on my sword. Yeah, it is a wooden sword. It's not very useful. Hey, points! Good, Sophie. You realized you had an opening. But you broke your concentration. Claude. He's actually smiling. I mean, it's that tiny smile that doesn't mean anything, but at least it's not a scowl. Claude removes his hands, allowing me to lower my sword. I'm sorry, Sophie. I feel my breath catch in my throat when Claude holds out the rose pendant that I got for him. I feel my cheeks flush. Yeah, it's a cute little pendant. You accidentally left this beautiful thing in my room when I came to return it. Nah, traded. Return it? Yes, you left it in my room, and I only thought it appropriate to bring it back to you. I guess I never told him it was a gift. Does he really think I left it there on accident? You threw it at him! Come on! It's like somebody shoots at you and you pick up the bullet and hand it back to them. Why would I leave it in your room on accident? What? I bought it for you and I wanted to give it to you, but you were acting so strangely and... Claude's eyes widen, surprise clear on his face. Sophie, you bought this for me? Why does he look so shocked? Claude looks at me in awe for a few moments. His eyes go back down to the locket. He traces a finger around the intricate shape, his eyebrows slowly furrowing. It's to thank you for everything that you've done for me. Sophie. This is beautiful. He lets the chain fall through his fingers as he stares at the rose pendant with adoration. I feel my heartbeat stutter as he turns to regard me with the same gentle smile. He leans forward. My breathing stops as he reaches out to hold up my glass slipper necklace. He's standing so close to me. Yeah. You really are a good person, Sophie. You completed your second good deed. I think some kind of congratulations is in order. Is there anything you want that I can give you? Like a hug. I look up at him and notice Claude's smile doesn't reach his eyes. He still looks so sad. I feel like there's so much I want from Claude, but I don't want to ask for something that might make him sad. Oh, I want a hug! There it is! Fuck. I want you to smile. If I tell him I want him to smile, he's probably going to be like, I already am, princess. Save it. Alright, well, you know the drill. We'll go with our first choice, and then if it doesn't work out, we'll try the other one. I want a hug. Huh? Claude looks at me in surprise. He thinks I'm being foolish for making such a request, doesn't he? I shouldn't have said anything. But before I can say anything else, Claude takes a step forward and wraps me in his arms. Aww. Yay. He pulls me toward him, and in those moments of silence, all I can hear is his heartbeat resounding in his chest. I can feel his warmth all around me, his fingers clasped gently at my back. blush. I feel so strange. My heart is racing and my knees feel weak. Hey! Something like this? I want something just like this. Bam, bam, now, now. Okay. No need for copyright claims now. He speaks right into my ear. It's a surprisingly pleasant feeling. Oh, he's blushing too! Suddenly, Claude makes a noise of distress as he steps away from me. All of the warmness that was pressed against me 1 moment ago is gone. Bah! Karma suddenly stops, eyes wide. He puts his hand on his chest and takes a step away from me, his fingers clutching at the fabric of his shirt. What in heck is going on with you? Oh. Claude has a pained expression on his face, only making me more anxious. Not now. Claude, are you okay? What's wrong? Sophie, don't worry about it. We have already demonstrated that we worry about you. He lowers his hand with the pained smile slowly fading from his face. This does little to reassure me. Was it my fault you were locked in your room for so long? I just want to point out, her braid goes down this way too, and I've never seen that before, and it's so frickin' cute! He looks so pained to be anywhere near me. No, most definitely not. I was feeling under the weather. And also bitter. Bitter? Why would he feel bitter? But it's not for you to worry about, darling. Yes, it kinda is! For now, we should head back. It's late and you need rest. Just got back from patrol, so I would like to rest as well. Is there anything else I can do for you? No, sweet Sophie. You've already done enough for me. He clutches the rose locket to his chest and sighs out a little with a gentle smile. This smile feels real to me. This is a beautiful gift, and I will treasure it always. Thank you, Sophie. Now shall we head back? I nod at him, and we silently walk back. When we make it back to the tavern, I feel tired, but also lighter than I have for weeks. Claude wishes me good night before slowly walking off to his room, holding the rose locket I gave him tightly. What is your dealio, buddy boy? Today I'm walking around town to do some errands with Claude. It has been a while since we've done this. Though we're here to run errands, there's also something else that drew me into town today. Yesterday, Waltz came back to the margin and told us of an announcement the king was making today. Apparently, that announcement had been posted for at least a week's time, but Waltz had only caught on to it after hearing about it from the crowds after one of his puppet shows. I'm not sure what this announcement entails, but I feel that I need to see the king make it with my own eyes. I can see more people milling about than usual, which means most of them must be waiting for the king to speak. I have a bad feeling about this. It's not strange for the king to make announcements, but this feels so sudden. Well, it's been announced for a week, you just didn't see it. And with everything else that's happened to me, I feel on edge. Wow, Sophie, you made these bags sound a lot lighter than they'd actually be. Oh, stop complaining, Miss Karma. You get valuable experience out of carrying bags. Seeing Claude complain is amusing, especially since I know he can handle the load. I feel like a servant. Okay, Prince Claude. What does that make me when you made me carry all those bags before? An assistant? I roll my eyes at him. We're both working here, you know. And then the thought strikes me. What do you even do? Claude looks surprised at my question, then he quickly smiles at me. I train the knights, of course. See, what did I tell you? That is his job. I also attract customers with my beautiful reputation. At least you're sparkling again. I start laughing and Claude's face flushes. Darling, I get the feeling you're laughing at me. No, just your sparkles, honey. I wonder. We finish up the rest of our errands and then sit down in the town plaza to rest. Claude leaves briefly and then returns with a slice of cake, for both of us to share as a snack. I have a lot of things I want to ask him, and now feels like the right time to do so. May I ask you a question? Of course, darling. Anything. Do you enjoy dressing like a woman? I don't mind it, really. I appreciate the beauty in anything. You girls get to wear quite an assortment of lovely dresses and makeup. It's quite beautiful. I feel more comfortable in my own clothes, but I don't mind dresses. Guess if you had to wear a dress for so long, you'd get used to it. I have another question. And what would that be? Dots. When I was in your room the other day, you spoke about a woman. Were you talking about the witch who cursed you? Oh, no. The woman I was talking about. He suddenly goes silent and lowers his head. His expression fades into something more melancholy. I feel my heart lurch. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up. To my surprise, Claude continues talking. Wow! A first! He's volunteering information! Shortly after I came to Angers, there was a woman I met whose smile was as radiant as sunshine. She was beautiful. When she laughed, everything felt right about the world. Hearing him talk about her makes me uncomfortable. Am I jealous? Claude watches me quietly, as if he's measuring my expression. Eventually, he goes back to speaking. I knew her for many months. Time passed, and I thought we were truly in love. And then He goes silent for a few moments, his eyes distant, his expression pained. Well, some things happened, and I realized she only loved me because of my curse. She was drawn to me just as any other woman is. She seemed so genuine in comparison to the other women, but in the end, Claude trails off and lets out an exasperated sigh. You were truly in love with her. I was. I've dated many women, but never fallen in love with someone who's honestly loved me back. So then the last person he loved was that one woman. Claude looks at me, and for a few moments he doesn't speak. Sophie, do you mind if I ask you a question? No, I don't mind. Have you ever loved anyone? You! Oh, my mother. I was referring to a romantic kind of love. Romantic kind of love. What does that kind of love feel like? Allow me to enlighten you. Okay. He smiles at me, and it is surprisingly genuine. It can feel simultaneously like floating and sinking. Your heart stutters and you worry about small things, about offending this other person in some way. You wonder if they'll like what you're wearing, or if they would prefer a sandwich to a casserole when you treat them for dinner. You begin to find beauty in all the things they do. Their presence make you feel complete in a way you've never thought of before. You try to imagine life without that person and find that you cannot. To even consider such a thing is painful, so much so that it feels like it might break your heart. Claude continues talking, but my mind is already whirling. Though he phrases things in a way that still feels unnecessarily dramatic, I feel a tinge of familiarity. The things he's describing, those are the things I feel when I'm with him. My heart can't be taken this! Ugh. Before I can say anything, we hear the sound of hooves, and both of us turn. Such bad timing! Ah! I can see a procession of knights along with the king on his horse. He normally rides into town like this, but today he's not smiling, and there are way too many knights riding with him. And is that Sir Alcaster? Let's go find a place to stand and watch. As you wish. The princess was amazed to discover that when he was saying "as you wish," what he meant was, "I love you." Claude walks with me into the crowd gathering around the king, and we find a spot to spectate at the very edge, closer to the alleyways. Why are we always close to the alleyways? My beloved citizens of Angers, I have come before you today to make an important announcement. We are going to be invading the kingdom of Brugantia. Ever since I was given this crown, I have sworn to live my life for the people and to rule in all fairness so that our kingdom could enjoy great peace. Yes, how lovely. The crowd breaks into applause. I stare at the king, an uneasy feeling in my stomach when I notice there is sadness in his eyes, though he is smiling. Then I notice Sir Alcaster appears to be hiding a smile. I don't like you, Sir Alcaster. You look shady. I do not like where this is going. The king's speech goes on for long minutes after that, with him detailing the commitments he has made, the goals he set, and finally his love for the people. The audience around us claps and cheers, but Claude and I are silent. Something's not right. I nod in response. To this day, I keep this promise. I would never break this oath, for it is the foundation on which I rule. The audience claps again, but I am silent, watching the king intently. Unfortunately, the unwelcome news that I bring you today gives me reason to hand this foundation over to someone else. I have fallen terminally ill. What? The king's proclamation is met with shocked and angry chattering from the audience. I cannot hear anything that is being said over the cacophony of voices, but I know that the audience is dissenting. I stiffen as I stare at the king. He's lying. I can tell by the firm set of his jaw and the way his eyes flicker across the crowd faster than they ought to. The king has lied to me so many times before that I can recognize when he does it. I know that this unfortunate news must come as a shock, that this is an illness for which there is no current cure. As for the question of my successor, he trails off for a few moments, and I think I see something in his eyes that hints at urgency, but I'm not sure why. Crown Princess Emmeline is unmarried and still too young to rule on her own. I feel a pang of irritation and confusion. Another lie. Emmeline could rule just fine with the help of Sir Mithras and the others. After much thought, I have come to the conclusion that our kingdom, which still continues to face danger from the witches, is best put in the capable hands of Commander of the Order of Caldera, Sir Alcaster. No! What? I cannot hide my shock. The rest of the audience reacts similarly, their sudden outburst a testament to their confusion. While I will be providing support and assistance from the sidelines, I cannot, in all good grace, continue to wear this crown when I know I cannot serve my people as they deserve. Simply put, I believe that the witches have gained more power in recent months and that Sir Alcaster is best suited to deal with these conflicts. The fairy tale curse runs more rampant in these days, and there have been more reports of incidents involving magic. The murmuring continues, except now the townsfolk sound panicked. This cannot be true. I do not miss the reluctance in the king's next words. Sir Alcaster has also suggested a number of remedies to our laws, especially concerning our security and work hours. I believe that Sir Alcaster can better rule this country in these turbulent times. Please show him all the love and loyalty that you have shown me. Oh, shit's getting heavy. That bastard. Claude has a foul expression on his face, and his words feel heavy, even in a low whisper. I know the king. He takes every duty upon himself, and he would never hand his crown to someone else. Once Sir Alcaster comes to stand on the podium, he silences them with a glare. Citizens of Angiel, I swear to you that I will serve you as well as Genero has. That being said, I also believe some changes will need to be made. Sir Alcaster continues to speak. He mentions things like curfews for safety, extended work hours, and additional taxes to go toward the knights, but I'm slowly beginning to block out the drone of his voice. What is going on? Alcaster must have done something to force the king into this charade. The king stands behind Alcaster with his hands clasped, his eyes alert, but there is a helplessness to them that I have never seen before. It isn't long before the crowd's unsettled murmuring becomes agitated whispering. I'm stunned when Claude cups his hand to his mouth and starts shouting. There's only one king. King Genero. Claude grips my hand and starts leading me around to the outskirts so that people cannot spot him as he continues his shout. The crowd begins to chant along with Claude, and then they draw nearer to the stage where my father and Alcaster are standing. There's only one king! King Genero! Long live the king! Only one king! King Genero! Let's go, Sophie. The crowd is right next to the platform now. The chant carries on. Claude pulls me behind him, but my mind is on my father and on his desperate eyes. Hours later, the tavern is chaotic. People are talking over each other, trying to relay the scene they saw in town today. Every visitor here is talking about what they witnessed. I I've been in a corner of the room this entire time, trying to understand everyone, but failing. Delora and Parfait are not here to calm all of this chaos. Hey, Princess. How are you feeling? I almost jump when I hear Rumpel's voice. Surprised? I can feel when a damsel is in distress, my lady. I am really not in the mood for your flirting, Rumpel. My apologies. Thought you might have wanted some cheering up. Dots. Where's your partner? He went into town to survey the situation. Karma doesn't do anything around the tavern, but he does a whole lot for you, doesn't he? I suppose that's the least a man in love can do. Duh! I feel myself blush. What is Rumpel going on about? Princess, you're pink! No, I'm red. I am tomato red. I am not. My mind feels all scrambled now. This is all Rumpel's fault. Thankfully, before Rumpel can continue talking, the door opens and Delora walks inside to call all the Marchant's boarders into the reception room. When I step into the reception room, I'm surprised to see two familiar figures standing beside Parfait. Hey! Emmeline and Rod! Both of them look downtrodden and discouraged. Everyone is noticeably shocked as they step inside. The prince and princess? Where did they come from? The palace, duh. What's happening at the palace? What of Queen Ophelia? We need silence in the room, everyone. Delora raises her voice, effectively causing everyone to pause. She glances at Parfait, who nods and then turns to look at Rod and Emmeline. Princess Emmeline, if you would tell everyone what you told Delora and I. The room is unnaturally quiet as Emmeline begins her story. She starts with the events of 1 week ago. Oh crap, we are over our time, so we're going to save it. Ta-da! And we're going to quit for now, and we will hear Emmeline's story in the next one. So thank you everybody so much for joining me with this. I will catch you in the next episode. Bye!